Matthijs Mekking, IC. I'm not presenting any work here. I'm just the messenger. Call me a bellman. On the previous OARC, which I did not attend, but there was in Atlanta, there was a panel discussion for exploring potential OARC to be the gateway of best current practices of the DNS. Here we are announcing the kickoff for setting up some kind of working group maybe to do this. So, oh yeah, I have this tool. Why? There seems to be some desire from the community. It's important to acknowledge that not every DNS operator is the same. So whatever this work is going to be needs to be granular because there's no one-size-fits-all solution. And then, hopefully, if you have a central place, you can go to regulators or authorities who point them to a place. Here is the best practices that you should follow as an organization. This is targeted at operators, so that means it's ongoing work because practices change over time. Yeah, and this would be a DNSSEC OARC community initiative. So that means it's from the community and doesn't mean that OARC staff would steer this work. Oh yeah, obviously Wisdom XKCD Wisdom 927 comes up. That's I'm sure everybody had that in mind already. There was this panel in Atlanta, and basically this Monday, this week, we had an informal meeting at the lovely office of Internet Stiftelsen, and there were a couple of people there discussing how we can go forward with this, discuss ideas, discuss the scope, etc. And we also definitely recognize that there's so many operational practices already out there. So it's not the goal to reinvent the wheel here. Maybe it's also a matter of figuring out what's out there and pointing to the right directions. So go over some key takeaways of that meeting of Monday. Curation came up because these things are ongoing. So that means there has to be some body, some person that goes over the standards and see if they're still valid, if they're still accurate. Do they need updating? So that's something that needs to be filled in. But also, if you're going to update it, these needs to be versioned. So it can't be just a wiki page where everyone just edits, oh, I think this is the best thing right now. Because as an organization, you want to point to something, and we are following this version, for example. We are in the process of updating into the next version. Modular, because if you're going to work on one big fat scope, you're not getting anything done. An important thing is what was mentioned before in one of the lightning talks as well. It's very important to have tools or things available that you can actually validate that you're following these practices. We think the OR community is a great place to do this because it has to be community driven. So, well, communities everywhere, right? See, we have DNS implementers, we have researchers, we have operators, we even have lawyers now. So, and those people go to all kinds of meetings. They go to ITF and OARC, and operators go to RIPE and OARC. And there seems to be one constant factor there. So I think OARC is a great place. I hope people can agree on that. It's also not tied to a region. There, I heard examples of the people, oh, this RIPE document is very great, but it's for Europe. Yeah, and I think OARC is a great body that you can point to. They know stuff. There's a lot of SME here. So we have some volunteers to kick off this work. I think it's important to reiterate if there's consensus. So because if the consensus goes away, it's like doing work for nothing, and we don't want to drag a dead horse over the floor. We think of creating some working group, and then explain the goals, explain the targets, identify the groups who can participate, who is willing to do the work, who is willing to put the information in. How to create this? We have to figure out some way. There's other processes that do documents that we can learn from, and these actions before they actually work. Figuring this out, we have set a timeline for ourselves to get it done in January. So then in the new year we can work on cool stuff. One process that we can do is that we set up an initial practice, deliberately bad, for example, and then we have another SKCD wisdom. And I will get to that because I will have here the OARC channel that you can participate. But if you don't do that in the beginning, it's not a threat. It might be that we are figuring things out and there's another SKCD wisdom. We put some bad stuff in there and hope that you will react on that. Thank you, that's all.